In this video, we're going to talk about how to get your first freelance client. So I've been working as a web developer for coming up to 20 years now. So 20 years ago, I first learned how to build very basic web pages. And since that day onwards, I've become better and better at what I do. Now, I've probably been doing freelance work off and on for about 10 to 15 years. So sometimes I've just worked full-time jobs, but always, even when I've been working full-time jobs, I've always had some ongoing freelance clients. And I think that is something that comes with the territory when you work in a programming role. There will always be jobs that keep coming your way once people know that you have this kind of skill set. So once people become familiar that you have this skill set, you will get more and more opportunities that come your way. And knowing how to deal with that and how to manage that is really, really important. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to get that first client. So I'm going to take this from the perspective of someone who has just taken an online course or even a classroom-based course. So if you've taken a course and you know the basics of how to build, let's say for example, a website. So you know how to build websites, you know CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. So you know these basic skills and you want to get your first client to begin as a freelance web developer. So the first piece of advice I would give is to get your own website first of all. Now, not just a free website. Try to get yourself a .com or even a local domain from wherever you're from, so a top level domain. But ideally a .com address as that is a global address. So a .com address will look more professional ultimately for anyone who visits your website. The second thing I would suggest is to use your own domain name for the email. So you want to give your name at the domain name rather than using a generic Yahoo or Gmail address. Now, I do have mixed feelings about this because I do use Gmail quite a lot myself. And in the past, I would have been 100% using my email at my domain name. But I think more and more these days, people are a bit more understanding about using Gmail as it is very convenient across multiple devices. But ultimately, it's more professional to use your own email address at your domain name. So that tells a client that not only do you take these things more seriously, so you're paying attention to these kind of details, but it also shows them that you know how to set these things up, right? So if you're going to be building a website for them, they may want to have their own domain name with email access too. So it's very likely that they will want to have their own email address at the domain name because, again, it is more professional for them as a business. So having your own website, having your own domain-based email, I think those are both very important. And probably even more important than this is to have a good portfolio. So they want to see what you've done in the past. So they're putting their money and they're putting their trust into you to build this website for them. So they want to know that you have done this kind of thing before. Now, that is quite difficult at the beginning if this is your first client. So ultimately, you need to have the experience to be able to show that you have done this before, but you also can't get that experience if you haven't done it before. So this is kind of like a catch-22 situation. Many people have this problem when they begin at the start. So I always feel like the best way to get past this is to create some dummy websites or some example websites. So either you want to do this one of two ways. You can do a free website for someone to begin with. So get someone who already has a business, build a free website for them, and in exchange they can give you a good review and you can use that as a testimonial on your website. So that's one very useful way to do this. Now, of course, when someone's getting a free website, they may try to take advantage of you in the sense that, you know, they're getting this thing for free, so they're happy to keep you working on that for a long time. So ultimately you want to keep it quite simple. Just build a 1 or 2 page website. Very simple, very elegant, very nice, in exchange for a good review from them or a testimony. The other approach is just to build some dummy projects. Now, you've probably seen some of my other videos on my channel where I create like clone apps of different Craigslist, Instagram, things like that. I did that kind of for fun at the beginning, but ultimately this is the kind of thing that you could do for yourself. So you can build some websites or applications and link them from your website. And that way you have this portfolio where people can see work that you have done. It doesn't matter to them if you have been paid for that work or you did it for free. What really matters is that you can prove that you have a skill set that is useful to that person who is hiring you. So if they're paying you as a freelance contractor, they want to know that you can do the work for them. So this is a great way, I think, to show that you have the ability to do the work, even though you haven't had any paid clients before. Another piece of advice that I would give you in your goal to get a client, your first freelance client, is to organize a video call with that person. So this is something I've seen many people fail at in the past. Now, just a quick introduction call, say who you are, talk to them, share what goal it is that you want or they want to achieve, and how you can add value to them to achieve that goal. I think this is really powerful. And in recent months, I've been trying to hire some people myself, and this is something I've seen people fail at. They will do a call and they won't turn the camera on, for example. I think it's really important just to see someone's face, talk to them, share a very basic conversation about what the project is, how they can add value to it. That goes a long way. Video interaction is huge these days, because in these times, I think it's very important just to see the person behind the camera, or see the person behind the laptop who's going to be doing the work for you. Build a relationship. Ultimately, relationships are so important, and it's something that we don't give enough credit for these days. So let them see who you are, see who they are, build up a level of trust, and more than likely that they will want to hire you for that project. So ultimately, if you achieve these things, if you can show that you know what you're talking about, if you can show that you have the experience or the portfolio to back that up, and if you're willing to have a conversation with them face to face, so you can make an introduction with them, talk with them, and convince them that you're the right person for the job. And I think if you can do these things, you will quite comfortably get clients coming to you and giving you work. And the beautiful thing about freelance work is that once you have one successful client, if they are happy, they will recommend you to more people that they know. So they will introduce you to people in their network that need someone with your skill set. And ultimately, you will just get more and more work coming as a result. So that's how it's worked for me over the years. I've never actually approached anyone to do work over the years. I've had all of the freelance work, and my career has come via recommendation. And I think that's something that will happen for you naturally if you try your best to give a good service to your client. So hopefully you found this video helpful today. And if you have, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content. And I will see you all in the next one.